Hello, YouTube friends. It's Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I want to talk with you a little bit about the long-term plan for these tanks. I've had a recent event that kind of made me start thinking about what I need to do with these tanks over the long haul. If you take a good look at the 150 gallon, and if you're familiar with my channel, you'll notice that there's one fish missing in there, and that is the Autopharynx tetrastigma, a fish that I grew out from a small fry. Well, the truth is that he took a bit of a beating, and I think it's a combination of things. One is that he is getting old and doesn't like to be pushed around, but can't quite defend himself the way he used to. And so the fish took that as an opportunity to lower him in the pecking order of the tank. This is something that African cichlids tend to do. And it might have been instigated by any number of these fish. The two, of course, primary suspects are the Venustus and the eye biter. But what cichlids will do is if a fish starts to look weak, everybody will tend to jump on. So, even the Taiwan reef, I believe, was taking a few shots, and even the Nimbochromis, Johnson and I was getting a few hits in, and so I had to put the Autopharynx tetrastigma in the sump just so that he could have some time alone and could recover a bit, regain some of his strength. He seems to be doing okay down there. He's taking food, he's eating, and he's active, and it's a very cramped space, and I feel kind of bad for him, but it's about as much as he would have if I put him, let's say, in a 5-gallon, in a small 5-gallon quarantine tank that I can set up right away. He's got about as much room, and so he'll do okay. I'm not sure if it was this guy. This guy is just a beast. He's pushing probably 9 inches, or it might have been the Fusco might have jumped in. The Fusco and the Venustus tend to be a tag team. And but you know what? I probably wouldn't be too far off if I thought it was the eye biter. He does tend to be very much on the aggressive side. So my solution is I'm going to have to put more fish into this tank. I'm going to have to start spreading around the aggression. In the 100, I have the Meduca white lips. I have a Nimbochromis nototania. I have some fish that ultimately are going to end up in the 150. That's going to help to add more fish, and by doing so, make it harder for a single fish, to be singled out. Of course, the Malawi hawk will go back there as well, and I even have some fish in the 60-gallon grow out that will also end up ultimately in the 150. But it's taking time. It's going to take time, even for the deep water Electra and other fish that I have. It's going to take time for those fish to put on enough size for me to comfortably put them in the 150. So what I probably will end up having to do is to find some reputable and trustworthy, reliable fish vendors who have some large fish in stock. And I'll try and put some large fish into the 150. Of course, that sand diver that you see in this video here, he's going to end up in that 150 eventually. He'll grow pretty fast, but not fast enough to be able to spread around the aggression that's going on in the 150 right now. Overall, that 150 is relatively peaceful, but from time to time, a fish will get singled out. You'll hear some splashing. Sometimes when I'm asleep, I'll hear some banging, and it's what cichlids do. So it kind of comes with the territory. I get it. But after visiting Nolan's down in Santa Ana this last weekend, and seeing how his fish looked in the very crowded, the overcrowded tanks that he was running, and how he told me that the aggression was so spread out that nobody was really being singled out. And he had fish that normally I would think would be very, very aggressive, such as dragon bloods and albinos and OBs living together, and without really any noticeable fin damage going on. Everybody looked pretty healthy and happy. And so I think I'm going to start moving more in the direction of spreading out the aggression with a more populated tank in the 150. Up until now, you know that I've kept that 150 pretty sparse, pretty low stocked, all things considered. So I'm going to be in the market for some big cichlids. If you have any suggestions, certainly share them below. This deep water eventually will be big enough to go into this Nimbochromis. Deep water will be big enough, and so will this. So will that living stony, and of course the Maduka white lips that could get up to 10 inches. But these fish are going to grow pretty slow, so I'm probably going to need something in a more immediate basis, so that this Exochromis anginus will probably also end up in the 150. He'll get up around 10 inches. Beautiful fish, especially when his blue face comes in. But I'm going to need something in the short term. So any recommendations that you have, Convo Gang, go ahead and post them below. What kind of fish do you think I should add to the mix? And in the 150, that would be a good addition to the fish I have in there now, that could hold their own and help to spread out aggression, so that I don't have any other casualties, or need to put anybody else into the sump or into a quarantine tank to heal. Okay, I'll be anxiously looking to hear your suggestions. I appreciate you tuning in as always, and that's it for me. This video is all about the fish. Thank you so much.